Don't skip. Have you ever noticed your mind feeling chaotic the moment you open your eyes, dragging down your entire day? The alarm goes off, you hit snooze. Just 5 more minutes and suddenly it's half an hour. Eyes still groggy. You grab your phone, scrolling through endless news, messages, and social media. Then it hits you. You're late. You jump out of bed in a rush, already tired, unsure where to even start. Your mind is pulled in every direction except toward yourself. This is what happens when we lack inner discipline, a core principle of Stoic philosophy. Inner discipline isn't about forcing yourself to be robotic. It's the ability to take charge of your thoughts, to manage your emotions, and to avoid being ruled by autopilot habits or fleeting feelings. A Stoic trains the mind the way a warrior trains the body. Every morning is a battlefield, and the toughest opponent is always yourself. When you start your day with a steady mindset, undistracted, grounded, you take control of how your day flows. Your productivity goes up, sure, but more importantly, you feel a deeper sense of peace. Today's video will walk you through 11 practical lessons to help you train your mind each morning. Inspired by Stoic principles, along with clear real-life examples so you can apply them easily. Follow these lessons and watch how your day begins to shift. Lesson number 1, quietly. Lesson number 1, quietly start. Morning is a special moment. It doesn't just mark the start of a new day, it's also the time when our minds are most impressionable. Right after waking up, the boundary between the subconscious and conscious is still thin. Emotions are unsettled, and thoughts begin to surge like waves rushing the shore. If you're not careful, you'll get swept into the current of the day before you even realize where you are. That's why stillness matters so much. Just 3 to 5 minutes each morning sitting quietly, doing nothing. No phone, no talking, no scrolling. Simply being there in your own stillness is how you reset your entire internal operating system. Science shows that this silent moment helps regulate your breathing, shifting your body from the underlying stress of restless sleep into the parasympathetic mode, that is the state of recovery and relaxation. It lowers cortisol levels, calms the nervous system, and most importantly, it lets you start the day awake, aware, and not at the mercy of external chaos. Adam, a tech startup CEO, once shared his simple but highly effective habit. Each morning before opening his laptop, before replying to a single email, he sits in a chair in the corner of his room, closes his eyes, takes 3 deep breaths, and sits in silence for 5 minutes. He doesn't call it meditation, he doesn't use music or an app. It's just a moment to remind himself, I'm alive. I'm in charge of this day, not the world out there. Since building this habit, Adam finds that he no longer reacts impulsively to unexpected news or pressure. He responds rather than reacts, and that's the clear sign of a trained mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That line isn't just a philosophy, it's a practical instruction. Instead of chasing peace from the outside world full of noise, news, and demands, the Stoics learned to return inward to the one place they truly had control. Morning stillness isn't a spiritual ritual or a slow living trend, it's a mental strategy. It's how you start the engine of your mind on your own terms, instead of letting the world hit the ignition. It's beginning with intention instead of reaction. And it's the foundation for a day lived with discipline, clarity, and self-mastery, just as the Stoics intended. Lesson number 2, identify. Lesson number 2, identify the virtue of the day. The virtue of the day. Every morning when you wake up, the world hasn't changed, but you have a new opportunity to choose how you will live that day. In Stoic philosophy, all external values, money, fame, success can be taken away. The one thing you truly own is virtue. To a Stoic, virtue isn't some abstract concept to display on a shelf. It's a compass for every small action, And to train your mind, you need to put virtue on your desk each morning, like a tool to sharpen your will. What is my virtue for today? It's a simple question, but a powerful one. Choose one quality you want to cultivate in your mind. Patience, honesty, courage, or temperance, just one. But live it fully for the whole day. That way, you won't just know what's right, you'll do what's right, even in the most ordinary situations. Say you choose patience. That day, every challenge involving waiting becomes a training ground. When stuck in traffic, instead of getting frustrated, you remind yourself, this is the patience lesson I chose this morning. You breathe in deeply, exhale slowly, and observe your emotions rather than get swept away by them. You're no longer at the mercy of your surroundings. You're actively training your mind in the middle of a chaotic world. A day like that doesn't go to waste. It's a small but real step forward in becoming a better version of yourself. Identifying your virtue of the day also helps ease the mental clutter many people feel in the morning. When you don't know what to do, you drift through the day on autopilot. Worse, you're led by emotions. But when you have one virtue as your focus, every action gains a clear purpose. It's like an anchor that keeps your mind from being tossed around by news, complaints, or outside distractions. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote in Meditations, "Live as if today were the last day you were granted to live with reason. And if it truly were your last, what would you want your mind to be filled with? Anger, anxiety, envy, or calm courage, quiet honesty, open-hearted compassion? You choose and you train. Every morning, choose one virtue, practice it, observe yourself. At night, reflect and acknowledge. That's how a Stoic sharpens the mind like a blade. Not in the storm, but in the smallest motions of everyday life. And if you're ready for the next challenge, get ready for a lesson that might change the way you see every obstacle in life and show you why that's the greatest strength of someone who has learned to master their mind. Lesson number 3, premeditatio. Lesson number 3, premeditatio malorum. Mealorum. On the morning before an important meeting, you make coffee, open your laptop, and your mind starts running through all kinds of scenarios. What if I lose connection halfway through? What if a colleague challenges my idea? What if the boss asks for data I haven't prepared yet? These questions aren't meant to induce panic. They're meant to prepare because you know things may not go as planned, and being ready is the strongest way to keep your mind steady. This is the spirit of premeditatio malorum, one of the core practical principles of Stoic philosophy, roughly translated as premeditation of evils. Premeditatio malorum encourages us to imagine potential obstacles, failures, or crises, not to be pessimistic, but to face them proactively. Stoics don't believe in luck. They believe in preparation. They train their minds like warriors train with swords, not waiting for the enemy to show up, but always ready for battle. Morning is the golden time to apply this principle. Before diving into the chaos of work and life, sit still for a few minutes and ask yourself, what could throw me off today? It could be traffic, an I-8 customer, a crying child, or a flood of deadlines. By visualizing these things in advance, you strip away their element of surprise. Your mind has already acknowledged them, already told itself, this might happen and I won't overreact. Modern psychology calls this mental rehearsal. Professional athletes do it every day. They picture themselves falling, trailing in points, or losing narrowly, and they mentally rehearse how to bounce back before ever stepping onto the field. This trains their nervous systems to adapt faster to pressure and stay calmer in real situations. For regular people like you and me, this too is a form of morning strength training, learning to live with uncertainty, so when it arrives, we don't panic. More importantly, premeditatio malorum doesn't stop at imagining what could go wrong. It drives action. When you picture losing internet during the meeting, you naturally check your connection and set up a backup hotspot. When you anticipate a colleague pushing back, you prepare your arguments more thoroughly. This preparation is mental discipline, the kind that lets you respond with reason instead of instinct and stay in control of the moment. Try applying this principle for the next 7 days. Each morning before anything else, spend 3 minutes imagining that today might not go perfectly, not to be afraid, but to be ready. And you'll see the more you prepare for what could go wrong, the more resilient you become to whatever actually happens. Lesson number 4. Distinguish between what is controllable and what is not. What is controllable and what is not. Every morning, our mind faces a series of choices. To worry about what hasn't happened yet, to get frustrated over what's beyond our control, or to focus on what we can do better today. That single choice shapes whether our day will be one of clarity or of fatigue. One of the core lessons of Stoicism is drawing a clear line between what's within our control and what isn't. This isn't about giving up, it's about protecting your mental energy, maintaining inner stability, especially in those first few hours of the day. When you give your full attention to what you can control, your actions, your thoughts, your reactions, you become proactive. On the other hand, when your mind fixates on what's beyond your power, other people's emotion, judgment, or unknown outcome, you easily become a victim,